Alright, folks, this is the third installment. This is going to be The Generous Quran from Usama Dakduk. Chapter 3, we're going to go 118 to about 129, 130, something like that. This is interesting because a lot of times you wonder why Muslims in general aren't very trusting and loving. I'm not talking about westernized Muslims that have grown up in a Christian society, which is very forgiving and tolerant. Just Google Pakistan and women in prison for being raped. Anyway, this is going to be another installment of Jewish New Testament, which is Jesus and Paul, and of course all the other disciples, versus the Arabian New Testament, which is the Quran, Muhammad, and Muhammad. I guess it's about Allah and stuff, which is a given. But there's one thing I want to say, and that is I'm no scholar. Thanks for listening. And the only other thing is you want to check out some insightful and get really educated, things or information. Check out David Wood, Pamela Geller, Bridget Gabriel, Jay Smith, Robert Spencer. There's a guy named Dan Gibson, which gives an awesome historical account of Mecca and where it probably really was due to geographical descriptions by Muhammad and historical facts of where a lot of the mosques when they were first built where they faced. So anyway, check that stuff out. And then, like I say, I'm no scholar, man. I'm just a dude. And I'm going to read from the Bible, and I'm going to read, the New Testament of the Bible, not the Old Testament. The Quran and Muslims, Jews and Muslims both agree in the Old Testament. And we as Christians believe in the Old Testament as far as history and how it, came about and how we came about to be. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started with this. And I won't be, messing with you anymore, wasting your time. So here we go. Muslims should not have friends except from amongst themselves. O you who have believed, do not take friends other than from yourselves. They will not fail to corrupt you. They desire for your ruin. Hatred, indeed, has already shown itself out of their mouths, and what is hidden in their chest is bigger. Indeed, we showed the verses to you if you were understanding. Here you are. Love them, and they do not love you. You believe the entire book, and when they met you, they said, we believed. But when they are apart, they bite their fingers at you out of anger. Say, die with your anger. Surely, Allah knows what is in the chest. If good touches you, it grieves them, and if evil afflicts you, they rejoice in it. And if you are patient and fear, their schemes will not harm you anything. Surely Allah surrounds what they do. And when you left your family early in the morning so that you might prepare the believers for their positions for engaging in war. And Allah is hearing, knowing. When two assemblies of you were about to fail, and Allah is their friend. And on Allah, so let the believers depend. And indeed, Allah gave you victory at Badr, and you were humiliated. So fear Allah, perhaps you may be thankful. When you said to the believers, is it not enough for you that your Lord aids you with 3,000 angels sent down? Yes, if you are patient and fear, and they come on you suddenly, your Lord will aid you with 5,000 of the marked angels. And Allah did not make it except as good news to you, and that your heart may be calmed by it. And the victory is not except from Allah, the dear, the wise. And He might cut a portion from those who become infidels or cast them down so they will return failures. It is none of your affair whether He relents on them or He torments them. So surely they are unjust. And to Allah what is in the heavens and what is on earth. He forgives to whom He wills, and He torments whom He wills. And Allah is forgiving, merciful. It's pretty interesting. A lot of times when you hear about tormenting and cutting someone's head off or doing whatever in the Quran, you'll always hear about how forgiving and merciful Allah is. That's just kind of an interesting side note when I've been reading it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go over to the New Testament. We're going to go first book of John, chapter 3. And go ahead and go down here. Let's start right around 7 here. Alright, so this is actually John, one of the disciples of Jesus. So, dear children, do not let anyone lead you astray. The one who does what is right is righteous, just as he is righteous, he being Jesus. The one who does what is sinful is of the devil, because the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's work. No one who is born of God will continue to sin, because God's seed remains in them. They cannot go on sinning, because they have been born of God. This is how we know who the children of God are, and who the children of the devil are. Anyone who does not do what is right is not God's child, nor is anyone who does not love their brother and sister. More on love and hatred. For this is the message you heard from the beginning. We should love one another. Do not be like Cain, who belonged to the evil one, and murdered his brother. And why did he murder him? Because his own actions were evil, and his brothers were righteous. Do not be surprised, my brothers and sisters, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from life to death, because we love each other. Anyone who does not love remains in death. Anyone who hates a brother or sister is a murderer. And you know that no murderer has eternal life residing in him. Let me adjust this real quick. Sorry. Okay. Okay. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and truth. This is how we know that we belong to the truth. In other words, that's another title for Jesus. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Anyway, this is how we know that we belong to the truth, and how we set our hearts at rest in his presence. If our hearts condemn us, we know that God is greater than our hearts, and he knows everything. Dear friends, if our hearts do not condemn us, we have confidence before God and receive from him anything we ask, because we keep his commands and do what pleases him. And this is his command, to believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, or Jesus the Christ. His last name isn't Christ, in case you didn't know that. It's Jesus the Christ, or Jesus the Messiah. And to love one another as he commanded us. And one who keeps God's commands lives in him, and he in them. And this is how we know that he lives in us. We know it by the Spirit he gave us. So anyway, that's it. That was the book of 1 John and chapter 3. And the other one was the Generous Quran, chapter 3, verses 117, 118 to 127, something like that. Anyway, like I say, David Wood, Pamela Geller, Robert Spencer, Dan Gibson, the Apostate Prophet. Any of those names, Google it, YouTube, type Islam in there, and all kinds of information will pop up. Have a great day. Bye.